Tonight, we're diving into one of the strangest modern obsessions, the Labubu doll. At first glance, it's just a quirky collectible with roots in folklore, but owners across the world have reported something darker. Streaks of bad luck, constant arguments in the home, strange accidents, and unshakable heaviness in the air. Some link this to the ancient Mesopotamian demon, Pazuzu, known as a bringer of misfortune and plagues.
Somewhere between science and superstition.
Even depicted in the horror classic, The Exorcist. The Bible warns us in Deuteronomy 7:26, do not bring a detestable thing into your house, or you, like it, will be set apart for destruction. Could these dolls be more than toys? Modern idols that invite spiritual unrest? From unexplained bad vibes to stories of homes turned upside down, tonight we uncover whether Labubu is just art or a dangerous doorway best left shut. I remember the very first time hearing about a Labubu, and it was from my friend Al. He wanted to win some money to get his daughter these Labubu dolls. I was a little curious. I started going on TikTok and YouTube, and there was like some dark history being connected to these Labubu dolls. People saying that they were haunted, and I mean, I don't know. I kind of thought it was BS at first, but then I really started digging deep, and I'm like, we need to make a video about this because there's things happening to people that are buying these. Now, I don't know if these videos we're going to show you here in a second, I don't know how accurate they are. I would imagine maybe their imagination has a lot to do with it. We're going to dive into the history, the deep history on these Labubu dolls that were not really brand new. I mean, these things just kind of came out of nowhere probably earlier this year, because I think it was Rihanna and some other movie stars. They started like showing them off and they started going crazy, but they've been out for like 10 years. I didn't know anything about them.
The Hong Kong born artist, he grew up in the Netherlands, but he was born in Hong Kong and he grew up in the Netherlands, and he, I guess, had a fascination with Nordic folklore when he was a child, which is, if you don't know what that is, because I didn't know what it was and I looked it up.
I still don't know.
It's the mythical gods and nature spirits, like little sprites and stuff, and supernatural creatures like trolls and gnomes and fairies and things like that. So it's like he had a fascination.
Like a fairy tale.
Yeah, like a fairy tale world. So he had created this fairy tale world, and the Labubu doll was like the little character within that world. And I think the world was called what was it called? It was called the Monsters, I think.
Okay.
The Monsters. And then this little Labubu doll was like a mischievous little sprite that like went around and like did bad things and stuff like that. So
that already doesn't sound good.
But I guess at some point that artist was asked about this whole like demonic, history, and he denied that had anything to do with it. And it was just based on his fascination with Nordic folklore when he was a kid.
Now, this isn't nothing new. I mean, going back to like the Cabbage Patch Kids and what was the other one? Furby.
Pokemon.
There's always been some people that,
just obsessive
right.
Behaviors towards wanting these things, these material things. And
now, one thing I have never seen, though, and I mean, maybe the internet has a lot to do with this. I've never seen something that somebody created causing so much trouble. And I don't know if all of that is true. I mean, we're going to share with you some of these people's personal stories here in a second.
Well, didn't you say that there's supposedly some sort of character that what was the...
So there's a rumor floating around that this demon, a Mesopotamian demon, dating back from like Babylonian days, by the name of Pazuzu. It's the name of a demon. And a lot of you might know this demon name by The Exorcist. They made it popular. I guess the girl that was possessed by a demon, she had like mentioned that name, even though she claimed to be the devil, mentioned Pazuzu. So that's kind of where the Pazuzu name kind of went mainstream in the 1970s. I wanted to show you these videos, and some of these videos Shelly has not seen at all. This is the line. I'm going to play this right here. This is the line of people waiting for these Labubu dolls at Pop Mart. Pop Mart is, I guess, the store that made them very popular. And this is at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe I think it was earlier than 8 o'clock in the morning. But
Yeah,
look at all these people.
They're the ones that Pop Mart were the ones who did a deal with this artist.
Okay.
Because even though they had been around for a long time, they, thought that they could blow it up, and they
definitely did blow it up.
Yeah.
And here's another like group of people getting ready to storm this store, and it was on the news right here too. I mean, these are all people like waiting in line.
That's insane to me. Like, this is where you fall into the lines of idolatry, like when you're
putting something before God. Look at this.
Obsession.
Like, look at these people going crazy. Like, if only people would be this excited about going to church on Sunday. You know what I mean? It'd be a different story.
So I wonder, I was like, I couldn't understand it because I think they're very ugly. But I was like, what is the obsession? Like, why the obsession with these things? What makes it so different? You don't know which one you're getting until you open it or something. So it's like it comes in a box and you have no idea which Labubu doll you're going to get. And I guess there's different ones, kind of like the Beanie Baby. Beanie Babies was another thing that people went nuts over. Now, I will say when I was a kid, I never wanted dolls, but everybody had Cabbage Patch Kids. And when I moved from Massachusetts to South Carolina, all the kids were getting Cabbage Patch, and I just wanted to make friends with people, and I was having a hard time making friends. So I thought maybe if I got a Cabbage Patch doll that I could be accepted as a friend. But my mom wouldn't buy me one because they were so expensive and it was ridiculous.
These Labubus are expensive.
And so she actually found a local lady that made Cabbage Patch dolls.
Oh, you got the bootleg ones.
It looked nothing like a Cabbage Patch doll. It was so ugly. That was the ugliest doll ever. It was an ugly doll.
So speaking of bootlegs, there is bootleg Labubu dolls because they were so expensive. They call them Lafufu dolls. And there's this here. I gotta show you. It was actually on the news because people are scamming people, I guess. And this is actually hilarious.
We got a warning for you this morning about that whole Labubu craze. The plushies, well, they're wildly popular, but they can come with some copycats. The toys are from a Nordic-inspired picture book and originated in Hong Kong. There they are. But the Better Business Bureau says the counterfeit's called...
Oh, my goodness. Just say it. Just say it, Efron. Just say it.
The count.
Oh, my God.
He is cracking up.
I can't do this.
Just say it.
The counterfeits are called...
Not a Labubu, but a...
I can't say it. A Lafufu. They are...
I can't breathe.
They're showing up everywhere.
Oh, my goodness. Who came up with
My
that?
eyes are watering.
Who came up with
So the question is, how can you spot the difference? Well,
can we go to break?
Genuine Labubus are known for their high-quality material.
He can't even contain himself. But obviously, there are some fakes of these Labubus. They're called Lafufus. And supposedly the fakes, and I have video of this, some of them are people are finding cameras in the eyes of these dolls. And I don't know if maybe that's, I don't know if it's fake or maybe people are, maybe it's real. I mean, maybe people are actually, I've seen it on more than a couple videos of people finding cameras in the eyes of these Lafufu dolls. This is a Pop Mart vending machine, and they have Lafufu dolls or Labubu dolls. They have Labubu dolls. They're like getting mad at this dude. Let me show you this. It was like almost a fight that broke out here, and it was recorded. One of the things is some people are resellers, and they're going to some of these places, and they're like first in line, or even like the vending machine, and they're buying like all of them. so that they could turn around and sell them. That's how crazy these things are. But I mean, look at this too. This was in a parking lot. I guess the stores were getting ready to open. Look how crazy. I mean, this is insane. And I'm not sure if this is maybe like it's probably in the last couple months that this happened. And if you're listening on Spotify, thank you so much. If you want to get a visual of what we're looking at, head over to YouTube, OmarGoshTV, to see the visuals. But it shows these people in a parking lot and they're going absolutely nuts for these Labubu dolls. So as crazy as people are acting to get their hands on these dolls, they're also burning them. Like, look at this. Some people are like burning them after because they're having bad luck.
They're cursed with a demon that almost ruined my life.
I mean, there's a lot of bad luck being tied to this. And before we get into some of the personal accounts of people here, she said these things are little demons. They bring bad luck. And it showed she had 2 car crashes in a short amount of time. I don't know if it was in the same day. This girl right here, she was actually convicted by God, and she put all those Labubus in there. Those could be hundreds of dollars.
Here reselling the same demon dolls that he told me to get rid of. You think I'm?
And she said instead of selling them, you know what I mean? I don't want to like give up my salvation. I'm just gonna burn these. And I think that kind of comes with a lot of things. There's certain things that we know as Christians, or that they're just like not good for us, and they really shouldn't be good for anybody else too. So hey, I'm just gonna destroy that. And I mean, I honestly feel like if she did that from a good place in her heart, like that's she'll be rewarded for that. But there was this other girl. This is crazy right here. I don't know what happened here. I don't know if this is for show, but this lady's burning a Labubu doll, and she's like doing some kind of like ritual chant here. She's saying your name, Kelly.
That's not Shelly.
Like Kelly Mark.
What is that? Is that Latin? What language is that?
I don't know what she's saying. I mean, she's saying a prayer. I mean, obviously she's praying to God. Maybe it's in a different language. I don't know. If y'all know what she's saying, please let me know here in the comments. Look at this video. This guy is in an apartment complex. This actually looks like it was filmed here in Florida. Those apartments look very similar to ones I've seen in Tampa before. But he is filming from like a box truck or maybe like a semi or something. And he sees something like, he was like, look, there's nobody in this car. And this thing is going crazy. Like, look at that. And I thought to myself, maybe that's the air conditioning. But I don't see air conditioning making that thing go crazy like that. But why are these things being burned? Like, people were waiting in line for these Labubu dolls for so long, and now they're burning them. This one girl claims that she got scratched.
Look at this.
There's also this video. I couldn't find the exact video, but it was like somebody reacting to the actual video. And they said that their Labubu doll's eyes changed. Like the colors changed.
Yeah, I remember when you were trying to find videos to use, I heard something about the debate. The child said that the doll's eyes turned green.
Or something, which is crazy. Here's somebody on the bus, and they're looking at the Labubu doll, and you could see it kind of like changed. Like it goes from like a side view like that, and then it's looking. That's still the side view right there. It kind of shakes, and then it turns. Oh no, there was kind of like a weird cut in the video right there. You're gonna like this one, Shelly. So this guy, I mean, this goes to show you, like, this is straight up idolatry right here. Like the way this guy is acting, like this is a grown man that's acting like this. But this is probably gonna make you laugh. Listen to this. So they must have ran out of Labubu dolls. Like, he's going crazy. This reminds me of that goat meme. I don't know if you ever seen the goat like screaming like that, the screaming goat. But like, why is this guy acting like that? Like, even the lady's like, chill out, dude. I don't know. Would you act like that if?
I almost question if there's something going on with that guy. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
So this is a Labubu doll video. Somebody, I guess, had this Labubu doll in it's their kid's bedroom, and maybe they have like a nanny cam up, but they're like screaming. I think that's Italian that they're speaking in, and they like grab the doll, but I guess the doll was moving and scary. And here's another thing that I've not mentioned, and a lot of the videos that I've watched where, I mean, there wasn't really anything visual about these Labubu dolls. There was a lot of kids complaining about having nightmares. And this one girl said that when she had went to sleep, she said that in her dream, this Labubu doll like grew and it was chasing her around the house, trying to eat her.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, you know, when we're kids, we kind of have like a crazy, vivid imagination. But I mean, why would these, I mean, they don't really look that creepy, in my opinion.
I think they're super creepy. Oh, they're so cute. I'm like, no, they're not.
I feel like some other dolls are a little creepier.
They're very creepy. They got those teeth and their big old beady eyes. Like, I think they're ugly.
So when my friend came over to the house, Al, and he had brought his daughter, we were kind of talking about Labubus. Or they brought the Labubus.
She had 3 of them with her, and she was over there talking to them, and I was like, what are you doing?
So, you know what's crazy, though, is when I think Al was saying something about, like, hey, you got to, you know, make sure you sleep in your own bed tonight. I guess she's been, like, having nightmares in the middle of the night.
Coming into their room.
And they traced it back around being the same time that they got these dolls. And as soon as we mentioned that, she got kind of like...
She kind of got a little weird. She told her mom, you can throw them away.
She did say that.
Yeah, she said, you can throw them away. Like, all of a sudden, she just says, you can throw them away. I don't want them.
Let's get into these people's story. These are parents that bought these Labubu dolls, spent hundreds of dollars. I mean, I've heard of some of them going for upwards towards like $500. But here is KT_Haven, and this is what she had to say.
My daughter bought these less than 24 hours ago and has had 2 nosebleeds since then. And I just recently found out apparently they're demons. We went to cheer practice last night, and 2 of the other moms says they don't let their daughters get these because they heard that they're demons. Now, what are the odds? She hasn't even had them 24 hours and has had 2 nosebleeds. So now she's terrified of them. After wanting them so badly, we're taking them back to the store to see if we can get our money back. So, if you believe in that or not, I don't know, but we're not going to take any more chances.
Imagine just being the store manager, like, why are you returning this, ma'am? Here's another mom.
If you have a Labubu and you've been experiencing some random negative energy, this video is for you. I threw mine away. I'm going to tell you guys
take that back. It's not a mom.
Everything that has happened to me since having this demonic doll. The second I purchased it, I went and picked it up from this girl, right? As soon as she left, I started my car to leave to go home, and my car stopped working, right? Not that big of a deal. Like, I didn't think anything of it, obviously. Your car can just run out of gas or stop working, whatever. I just thought that was weird because I had gas in my car. Not a lot, but enough to, like, I would have been fine. Last week was definitely one of the hardest weeks I've experienced living, like, on this earth. I don't even know how I was coming on here and making some videos when I could. It was probably right when I was done wiping my tears, and I was like, I need to make videos, I need to post. It's gonna be so honest with you guys. I threw that thing away because of all the really scary, depressing things that I've gone through last week that I don't feel anymore. I actually feel like I'm the freest, happiest person right now, and like nothing could break me. I always thought like I had some type of anxiety and would feel depression sometimes if I was like PMSing, right? Like normal. No, never experienced depression like I did last week. It was really scary. This is obviously a sensitive topic to talk on here, but I'm not going to say much. I'm just going to say it was really scary. It's like, where is this coming from? It was like every thought in my mind was just completely negative. Got hurt really bad and it was scary. We had to go to the hospital. The same day as we're getting ready to go to the hospital because he had a spider bite on his face, which was weird, and it puffed up his eye. That was freaking disgusting and scary too. That's when he got hurt as we were getting ready to go to the hospital. So we're like freaking out over a spider bite. I have anxiety, so I always think like, is he going to get an infection? Is it going to go in his bloodstream? Like on top of me having like such bad anxious thoughts last week, like it was tripled because I'm like, is he going to be okay? What if, just like my thoughts weren't normal. I went to the hospital myself for something too. It wasn't serious, but it's just like, when do I ever go to the hospital? It felt like there was a dark cloud in this house. Like my husband was concerned. Like I kept getting phone calls from my sister. Like, are you good? Like it was not normal. It was not me, you guys. My niece's friend was over the day that I decided to throw it away. And so last week I was sitting and my niece came over with her friends and we were just like making tacos and stuff, right? Usually stuff like that, I have so much fun with them. Like I'll make them food, we'll, have fun. And I just wanted to be by myself and cry. And my niece like always knows when I'm like about to cry or something. So she looked at me, she's like, do you want some wine? And I was like, I actually need to go upstairs for a second and just cry. And as I'm going to do that, her friend hits her head so hard in the corner of like my cabinet, and it was like sharp. And I looked at her and I was like, I can tell she wants to cry. Like, I know she just got so hurt. And I almost felt guilty. I was like, is it just like the energy in my home? Like this place is dark right now. This is not normal. That's what made me be like, no. I took that damn Labubu, chucked it outside, and I never want one in my house again. I don't even want one near me. You cannot convince me it's not possessed. Those are possessed dolls. Look into it. It's like a weird thing because like you get like so into it. It's like you want more and you want more, but it's like, that's what the devil does when he kind of has you. He just brings you in more and more and more. I just started praying. I blessed my home the second I threw it away. I'm not over exaggerating. Imagine being depressed to where really nothing can get you out of it. And when you're in a depressed episode, it's scary. The next morning, I felt like I was in heaven. I'm dealing with like, I'm a mom with 2 kids alone and normal stress, but like, I'm not like, I don't care. Like, I'm fine. These things don't even feel stressful to me anymore. Even sell it or anything. I just like, I was like, I don't want it. I just throw it away. So if you are, and I know they say you need to be stronger than that. It's just a doll. Don't believe this stuff. But I feel like when you're someone who's really close to God, things like this can affect you because obviously when you are really close to God, the devil knows that and he wants to attack you. And so in any way he will. Truly, if you're experiencing anything negative and you have that doll, just throw it away. Also, The Simpsons predicted these dolls and they're called Pazuzus. They look very similar and they're supposed to possess you.
So the Simpsons didn't predict the Pazuzu dolls, but there is an episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson gets one of these Pazuzu dolls and he gets like possessed from it. And people were kind of like using that and saying that it's similar to the Labubu dolls or whatever. But I mean, these things, I guess, like are scaring people so much. They're not even going to sell them, which they know. I mean, people probably can get so much money from these dolls. I mean, Shelly had mentioned it, how you could only get whatever doll comes to you. It's like a mystery box.
Yeah,
there's people out there that probably want certain dolls that maybe they don't have. And like this woman here, she didn't even sell it. She was like, I could have sold this, but she just threw it away. The only connection I would say is that it kind of sounds similar, like Pazuzu, Labubu, Haven't found that connection, but I mean, why are people setting these things on fire? Like they're really going all out. I mean, that this lady doing a ritual here. Here's another story by Nora.
Bought one not too long ago and it ended up not being the one that I liked, and just it wasn't cute at all. I never was really into them anyways, but I was like, hey, let me give it a shot. Let me see if it's at least a cute color, whatever. So we brought it home. My kids were playing with it in the basement. And then once I saw that it was like this whole demonic thing, I told my kids, go bring it upstairs from the basement and throw it away. As soon as I saw the video about it, they went down to the basement to look for it and they could not find it. I was like, okay, you guys, you're just joking. I went down with them to go look for it. They weren't joking. We could not find it anywhere, you guys. Like, nowhere in the house was it to be found. We searched upstairs, on the main floor, in the bedrooms. We could not find it anywhere. We ended up finding it behind the refrigerator in the kitchen. I don't know. And like our refrigerator is very hard to pull out. It's like super, super heavy. I don't know how it got there. So we ended up getting it and we threw it in the garbage. A couple days later was garbage day. So the garbage came. My son went and pulled the garbage bins in, and I was like to him, double check, make sure they're recycled, because he ended up tossing it in the recycle. I was like to him, double check and make sure that the garbage is empty before you pull it in. He checks, he's like, it's completely empty except the Labubu is still in there. I was like, what the hell? Why is it that the Labubu is the only thing? And the Labubu was literally in the middle, you guys. These things are honestly so freaky. If you have one, get rid of it. I ended up taking it out and going and dropping it off and getting rid of it in a dumpster in a different shopping plaza. If you have one, get rid of it. That is just so creepy, so weird, so bizarre, just crazy. It's honestly so insane.
Here's a video right here too of it like moving. Look at it. It's like some security footage. Then it shows there, beware of this toy. And here's one thing that I wonder. People started seeing these links, maybe like on TikTok or whatever, of Labubu and Pazuzu, and maybe like just one person talked about it. I believe there was a priest that had said something about it. Can it be like a placebo effect?
If something is tied to darkness, God tells us not to have anything to do with it.
What if this was created with that same evil intent? You know, and that's why it's causing what it's causing. I mean, we don't know. But the Bible has a thing or two to say about things that are evil. I'm not saying that these things are evil, but I will say that how people are treating these things, waiting in line the way they're waiting, but going crazy, starting fights, that is definitely somewhere where you don't want to be when it comes to God, because God is very jealous. And one of the main commandments, and let's get to that, you shall have no other gods before me. It's commandment number 3. And what exactly does that mean? Because it doesn't mean that like these people are worshiping these things as gods, but I mean, they're technically putting these things, I mean, like I was saying a little bit earlier, when was the last time you seen somebody getting that excited about going to church? You know what I mean? Or getting that excited about maybe like a Bible sale that was going on. I mean, they're definitely putting these things before God, which means that technically anything that comes before God is a God in your life. It could be a loved one. It could be money. It could be all kinds of things, an addiction.
Well, God warns about any objects that are tied to idolatry, witchcraft, demonic influence. And again, not saying that these things are demonic, but there is people tying a demonic influence to them through these stories that are supposedly happening. Oh, it scratched me in my sleep, or, you know, it's moving around all by itself. So there are stories that are being attached to these dolls. And so we are warned about that kind of thing, to stay away from them. And if something glorifies fear, confusion, darkness, you know, all of that, it's not something of the Holy Spirit for sure. So I don't know. Definitely. I mean, not at all.
And for someone who loved collecting haunted objects or things that were kind of dark with history, after reading this verse, it kind of changed my perspective on things. But it says here, and Deuteronomy 7:26, Actually, I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 7:25. It says, "The images of their gods are you to burn in the fire. Do not convey the silver and gold on them. Do not take it for yourselves. You will be ensnared by it, for it is detestable to the Lord your God." And he was talking about people making false idols, like false gods that they would pray to and stuff like that. But in verse 26, it says, "Do not bring a detestable thing into your house, or you like it will be set apart for destruction." What's something detestable? I think anything that has to do with evil. "Regard it as vile and utterly detest it, for it is set apart for destruction." And if you're holding one of those things that's demonic or isn't something that you should be holding, it's going to be you that's set apart for destruction.
Well, it is, even if taking the demonic stories out of it, it's definitely something that is being idled right now, because people are standing in these lines, and
It's
for some people,
an idol.
yeah, some people may not understand what idolatry is, and it's basically anything that you obsess over, and put before things that are more important, such as God or your family. I mean, there's people standing in line, probably, that need to be home making dinner for their children, and they're standing in line to get these dolls that, they're just, anytime you put something above things that are most important, it becomes an idol.
So this is another reason you don't want to be taking things in that are haunted. Like I said, I'm not saying that Labubus are haunted or anything, but even if it had a chance of being haunted or being tied to some sort of negative energy or darkness that was created by Satan, 1 Corinthians 10:20 says, "No, but the sacrifices of pagans are offered to demons, not to God, and I do not want you to be participants with" what? Demons. So, I mean, that's pretty cut and dry.
Well, here's the thing too. If you want to talk about like the negative things that are happening to people with these dolls, obviously, like I just said, they're tied to idolatry, because people they're like going crazy over these things, and they're, like I said, the standing in the lines, the fighting, all the negative things, that's negative in and of itself. So anything that's tied to something that's not of God is a vessel or a thing that the enemy can use to control people and to have his way. So maybe it's not demonic as in how they were created, but more of the devil is able to use them in demonic ways to put that negative stuff into people's lives and attach it to this doll, because they're, people who are making these dolls an idol are opening a door for Satan to go, "Oh, okay, now I can play." And so maybe it's not, it's not spirits we're talking about here. We're just talking about this ability to have this negative energy in your household.
Well, what is our biggest battle as humans?
Yeah, it's a spiritual battle.
It's a spiritual battle. It's not against flesh and blood like the Bible says. It's against spiritual things, things that are negative, like constant attacks. And I mean, who's not to say that these things were created out of a dark place? And like I said, I'm not saying that's the truth, but the whole idolatry, the giving power to something else before God, that itself, in my book, is definitely wrong. So I don't know if you've seen the videos, but there's people pouring holy water on some of these things too. And yeah, I think that's kind of crazy. What's your opinion? Like, would you get a Labubu doll?
No.
You wouldn't?
I mean, I've never, well, for me, I will say when my children were younger, we never really watched TV much, so they didn't know the things that were like the most popular toy or whatever like that. But I think that anytime you give a toy power like that over children, where children will get, I've seen little kids go bonkers over things like that they wanted, like crying and acting all crazy because they didn't get something. And I think anytime you feed into that, you're inviting negative stuff into your life.
I have seen videos of kids getting these Labubu dolls, and I don't mean to cut you off, but before I forget, and there was this one girl that she opened it up on camera, and she like got mad. She was like very ungrateful.
That's what I'm saying. It's like everything around it, and not just the Labubu dolls, but even in things I've seen in the past where it's like the toy of the year. And I've always had just a very negative feeling about parents who would give that kind of power to a toy. Well, I have to get this for my kid for Christmas. No, you don't. No, you really don't. You're giving a material thing power. And you can ask any of my kids. I've never, ever, ever fed into any of that. And none of them luckily ever asked for that because they didn't even really know necessarily. But I think anytime you're inviting something negative into your life when you're allowing that, in my opinion.
I remember when my kids were little, there was always like something. Like my daughter loved Littlest Pet Shops, and my son, Max and Ethan, like they loved more like video games and stuff like that, and they had to have like the video game when it came out. But I mean, it wasn't like an obsessed kid. So I mean, I don't want to confuse parents out there maybe watching this video or listening to us on Spotify, the Upper Room, by the way, that it's okay, like if your kids want a certain toy or a certain thing, but the idolizing, the obsession, like we're seeing here in the video, like is definitely, it's different. Now, I don't want to change the subject here, but there must be, I mean, if these things were created by evil hands, I mean, they were started. They did get popular by some movie stars and singers, because I mean these things have been out for a long time. And
10 years.
Just like this last year, they became real popular. These Labubu dolls. Katy Perry, there's a video that I found on TikTok where somebody tried to hand her a Labubu doll, and she smacks it out of their hand. Here, I want to show the video here. So she's singing, she's looking all funky, and she knocks the Labubu. It was like she knocks it out. And then she said, "No Labubus." Why did she say no Labubus?
I have no idea.
Like, what was her reasoning behind that? Like, does she know something that we don't? Being like an elite? We always kind of, we hear these conspiracy theories of movie stars and actresses and people of like great power knowing things, and they do weird things too. And some of them even have been known to sell their souls to the devil for their fame. Was that the case maybe with the Labubu doll? Maybe whoever created, not the actual creator, but maybe somebody like elite that practices something kind of dark reached out to some of these people. This is just a theory. I'm not just saying this is truth. I mean, this is just my mind kind of thinking. And they started paying these actors. I mean, like, why did they all of a sudden start, like, what started the whole Labubu thing?
I don't know. Like I said, the only thing I could even think of that made it different than other things out there was the fact that it's in a mystery box and you don't know which one you're going to get until you open it. So I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand these kinds of things. I never have. So I don't really understand why grown adults are like walking around with these things hanging from their purses. Like, I don't understand that at all. And not to say anything negative about anybody who might be watching this video who has one of those. I just don't understand it.
Like, do you think Katy Perry was like being mean? Like, this person's,
she obviously doesn't want it. Maybe she knew, maybe she heard, all the negative things that are happening with these dolls. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just here to assume on that one.
So after I did my research on Rihanna, it said that Rihanna is actually a Christian and she believes in God. And so, I mean,
well, I'm not going to say this is not a video about Rihanna, but
I know what you're going to say. I mean, some people, they might profess, being Christians, but there's
believe
no halfway when it comes to, honestly, anything that you believe, whether it's Christianity or whatever you want to believe. I believe in the truth, which happens to be Christ. And there's no half butting it. Like you're either in or you're out.
If you are truly a Christian, so just believing in God does not make you a Christian. Going to church on Sundays does not make you a Christian.
Well, even the demons believe in God.
Yeah. So it's living a Christian life, acting. So when people see the way that you act and treat people and do things, they go, wait a minute, you're different. So when the lines are blurred by people, especially celebrities, and just people in general that say, oh, I'm a Christian, but then you see them, cursing all the time and treating people terribly and being ugly, and it's very confusing. And I think
being very provocative.
Yeah, extremely provocative. I mean, her videos are,
Right.
So
This video is not about
no
Rihanna, but we did want to touch on it because she did make this Labubu doll kind of popular.
It was her and some other, the ones that were coined as making this blow up were Rihanna, and I guess there's a band called Blackpink, and there's a member of the band named Lisa, and I guess she was I don't even know who that is, but that was Blackpink's Lisa.
I'm wondering if maybe Pop Mart or whoever is involved behind the scenes paid these celebrities to do that.
They probably just sent them one. That they do that kind of stuff all the time. They get gifts and just, open stuff up, and it's just an endorsement.
Oh, this is somebody like showing scratches. And they were like, I think I know where these scratches came from. And there's a couple people complaining about waking up with some sort of like scratches.
I don't know what to think about that. What is that?
So this is a girl that's on like a subway or whatever, and she's like just kind of acting all crazy. She's probably like on drugs or something. And look what she has attached to her. Look at it's a Labubu doll, and it makes you wonder, like when people are possessed by demons and whatnot, like what do you call that? You call that an attachment. And these Labubu dolls, I mean, compared to every toy that you could think of, like you have to attach them. I don't know. I think we may have come across something there.
Oh, you're talking about attaching them to...
like they attach them to like their book bags. They attach them to their person. Like they're attached. So this is crazy right here. Like there's obviously a collection of stuff they have there. I don't know if they collect weird like haunted objects. But watch what happens here. Look at this. That's weird. I mean, I don't know if it's the Labubu doll doing this. Definitely not the Labubu doll itself doing this, but not gonna say that there's not something negative there, because there could be. This is another crazy one that I saw. So this person's clock, I've never seen this before. So the second hand to the clock, look what it's doing. It's not the ticker, like that thing is just, and they have these Labubu dolls there, and the thing is just like going crazy. Look at that. You ever seen a clock do that before?
Not one that works properly, no.
I mean, could it have been like a glitch in the clock? Maybe, but that's the thing. There's a lot of people putting this out there that after they're getting these dolls, a lot of strange things are happening. Here's another Christian perspective, and I like what this girl has to say. Check this out, babe.
The Labubu is demonic because some people say they are, other people say I bring my Labubu to church. What's the deal here? Okay, let's investigate. So the creator said that the Labubus came from Nordic mythology, which is pagan mythology. The Bible calls pagan gods and goddesses demons. The internet says these are elf-like monsters. Okay, so elves, monsters, pagan mythology. This is not looking good for the Labubus. With cases like these, this is when we really need to walk in discernment. Are you gonna get demon possessed by owning a Labubu? Probably not. But could you get nightmares? Could you get sleep paralysis? Could you be bringing in spirits into your home? Very well. You very well could be doing that. That is not outside the realm of possibilities. The second way we can use discernment is look at their faces, look at the design. Okay, this is creepy.
They do look kind of evil.
It's giving monster. It's just that it's not giving glory to God. These are the times when you want to know how to hear God's voice for yourself, and you want to put the conviction of the Holy Spirit above what the culture says is cool and trendy and collectible. What good is it if you get this toy that's cool right now? It's not going to be cool in a year, but then you start getting sleep paralysis. Like, it's not worth it. So if you're asking me, I do think Labubus are demonic. I would never give one to my daughter. I would never bring one into my home. They're creepy. I don't even think they're cool. This is something between you and the Lord, and you need to ask God and be obedient if he says to throw it out. Because in the mythology, the elves and the goblins and the sprites and the fairies, those represent spirits, unclean spirits, okay? Like, again, I don't think you're gonna get possessed if you go buy one, but you definitely could be bringing demons into your home, and we don't want that. So that's why I want to make this video, to warn anybody. Pray, ask God for yourself, and use wisdom and discernment, guys. It's not that hard. If you want to learn more about how to discern between
I really like what she has to say, and I didn't even put that into perspective because we just read those Bible verses a second ago about pagan.
You know, it's funny is just if you like some of my notes, I have Christians are told to use discernment, weighing everything against scripture and the character of Christ. Like I literally had the same thing that she just said written down. And then some people don't know what discernment is. It's not judgment, because I've heard people say, oh, well, you're judging things. No, it's about taking things of this world and running it through like a lens of the Holy Spirit, and running it through the lens of God. Like, is this something that God would want me to have? Is this something that is, you know, is of God? And just finding out that it was something that was created based on this Nordic folklore is just what she said. It's sprites and little, you know, elves and it is. And so that's just that right there is, if you take, okay, I'm a Christian, I have a child who wants one of these. This is an opportunity for people to teach their children about these things in the Bible. You know, a true Christian family could use this as an opportunity. Well, sweetheart, you know, this is why we're not bringing this into our house. And it's an opportunity for a parent to discuss these things with their children. Yeah, they might be little, but you could discuss it in a way that helps them understand, so that then as they get older, they can do the same thing. I think we have a lot of opportunities sometimes that we don't use in teaching children these things.
And you know what? Like, let's say that these things aren't harmless at all. If you love God with that much love, where you love him above all, it's the way we're supposed to love. Are you going to even want to take the chance of offending him?
No. And it's like, why would you want to invite that into your life? Like, you know, it's not something of God. So why bring it into your home, especially with all these negative things attached to it? Even if these people are fabricating the stories a little bit, just that alone is negative energy, right?
No, it is.
So,
and for going back to 1 Corinthians 10:20, it says, but the sacrifices of pagans are offered to demons. So paganism is connected to demonism. It's connected to evil. And that's why us as Christians want no part of that. So if this doll's roots date back to a certain, even if it's something that's harmless, that's connected to folklore, I mean, it's connected to paganism.
Right. And you just have to be, I mean, some people might watch this video and think, oh my gosh, you're being over, you know, it's overkill saying not to get your kid these things because of this.
Fanatical.
But it's not about being fanatical. I mean, I'm not a fanatical Christian. I remember as a child, my father, I grew up in a fanatical Christian home. So I fell away from that, you know, for obvious reasons. But, you know, my dad had burned my brother's record player, like his stereo, because he said it was possessed by the devil, because my brother had brought in some Kiss albums and played them on it, because my brother would sneak Kiss albums in like jackets of albums that were like Christian albums.
I will say some of those like 80s hair bands, you know, like Motley Crue and stuff. And I, you know, as much as I appreciate the art of music,
Yeah.
a lot of it glorified the devil.
Yeah. Well, you know,
a lot of that music did.
Yeah. You know, it's so funny. Speaking of like musicians and that era of music, and something that happened recently, of course, there was, I wanted to do a video on this, but I haven't done it yet, but on Ozzy Osbourne, and how people talk about, oh, he bit, you know, he bit a bat's head off on stage. And so here's the thing. And I was like, you know what? I want to look this up, because I know
It's
that
actually an accident.
it was an accident. Like so one of his fans actually threw it up to him on stage, and he thought it was a rubber bat. And so he bit into it and freaked out because it was real. He realized it after he did it. And he actually got a rabies shot after the concert because of that. But he had no idea it was real. But that one thing that happened to him,
It was a toy.
like, made everybody think he was this horrible Satan worshiper. And he actually, there was an interview where he grew up in a Christian church, and he actually was a Christian, but he was made out to be this like devil worshiper who like did these bat rituals on stage, and it was just because one of his creepy fans like threw a real bat on stage, and he thought it was rubber.
There's always a backstory to.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Oh, so remember I was telling you about the cameras on the Lafufus? This guy cuts open the doll.
Well, if you go back to that video you were just at,
he actually finds the camera. Go back to this video.
Look at its. Oh, I guess. Okay, never mind. I was going to say that's how. Yeah, but I thought they weren't perfectly round, but I thought it looked like it had been tampered with. But that particular doll, that's how their eyes are. Okay.
And you can see
Yeah.
And you can see this guy actually finds the camera. And I mean, could this have been fabricated? Maybe who knows? I mean, you never know what people do online for clicks and views.
Right.
But when you start hearing about something happening more than once, I mean, especially like these Labubu dolls like causing nightmares and whatnot, and I mean, it does make you wonder.
Well, and I wonder who makes the Lafufu dolls. Like, where did those come from? Another company?
I don't know, but there was a lot of people getting scammed too. Like they'll order these. It's supposed to be Labubu dolls. They'll order them and they spend all this money. I've seen a couple videos when I was doing my research for this, and then they send them the fake ones instead of the real ones.
So we were talking about Bible verses and children and how vulnerable they are, and how we could use these stories and this type of instance to teach our children, if we're Christians, about, why we don't let certain things come into our homes. You know, we do have to protect our kids as much as we possibly can. I mean, I remember when my kids were young, they had cell phones. All their friends had cell phones, and my kids didn't have cell phones. And I'm like, well, you're just not ready for that yet. But then they would just go to the school and they would see all these terrible things on their friends' cell phones. And so it's like you can only protect them so much, but you definitely can protect your children inside of your household. They might go to a friend's house and their friends might have Labubu dolls, but that's why we need to know these things. And but as far as biblically speaking, there's a Bible verse, 1 John 5:21, that specifically says, "Dear children, keep yourselves from idols." And so I
love what the new, because this is a bunch of translations.
Yeah,
on Bible Hub. It says in the New Living Translation, "Dear children, keep away from anything that might take God's place." So an idol isn't just like an idol that somebody worships, like a man-made object that somebody prays to. It's anything that takes God's place in your heart.
In your heart. And biblically, the mind and the heart go together. They're talked about as one. The mind and the heart are directly connected. And all throughout the Bible, if something's in your heart, it's in your mind. If something's in your mind, it's in your heart. And so that's something too. And when you're allowing your children to obsess over wanting these dolls because all their friends have one, I really think we should use that is an opportunity to teach our children about things like this.
I agree. So, final thoughts. I think the correlation between the Pazuzu and the Labubu doll, they both have different roots. Can they both be used as idols? I would say yes. Could these things have been created by evil hands, in the hands, to go into the hands of vulnerable children and adults? Could they be seen as idols? And I would say yes. If you have some of these Labubu dolls, and not just Labubu dolls, if you have anything that is wearing down on you spiritually and mentally, maybe you have a darkness in your home, you need to get rid of it. Whatever is causing it, whether it's a doll, whether it's an addiction, whether it's a bad relationship, that could also be in the form of an idol. If that's you, we want to pray for you right now so that you find freedom. Father God, we just want to thank you for this opportunity to be alive today, God. The people that are watching this as well, God, I know that they're thankful for many things in their lives, God. I'm asking you that if there's somebody watching this video right now that is seeing some darkness, is feeling some oppression, God, anxiety, depression, whatever the case, because there's something that's separating them. Maybe it's an idol in their life, God. Maybe it's sin itself. God, I'm asking you that they open their hearts, they open their mind, and they bring themselves completely broken the way they are to you, so you could free them of whatever it is they're going through. God, I ask you that they open their hearts, become more thankful in life, and just come to you, God, so humbly like a child. I know that there's also people watching this, God, that have made the mistake of putting other things before you, God. I ask them to ask for forgiveness, God, please, and accept their forgiveness, God, if they're humbly doing it the way they should be doing it, God, and turning away from whatever it is that they're supposed to be turning away from afterwards, God. I ask you to please come to their aid, God, comfort their hearts, heal their broken hearts, God. In Jesus' precious name, God, I ask you to free them, God. Somebody that maybe is going through some pain in their lives, God, I ask you to please comfort their pain. Show them that you're there for them. Show them that you're healing them, God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for allowing Shelly and I to pray over you. It's such a privilege. Something that I've always wanted to do since starting my channel is be able to be a little bit more open with my faith. And I know there's a lot of y'all that watch these videos that I create, like a lot of the ghost hunting videos and a lot of the speaking to the dead and things like that. And I'll be honest, it's not something that I originally wanted to do from the beginning. I started my channel originally like to do prank videos, funny videos, and then I just started kind of experimenting later on with doing scary videos, and then it kind of evolved into something kind of dark and getting into like the occult, and I never wanted it to go there. And I'm gonna be doing a video pretty soon on that, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people that are upset, but truth is truth. And I even have friends that do similar videos that God has been calling them as well and kind of telling them like, hey, like, you shouldn't be doing these kind of videos. So for some of y'all that are arguing the Labubu's just a toy, when a lot of people thought that the Ouija board was just a toy, and we saw how much darkness the Ouija board has created in a lot of people's lives, spiritually, mentally, physically. I mean, it is straight out of the pits of hell. That's why you've never seen me, even when I was doing these kind of videos of speaking to the dead, I never wanted to touch a Ouija board. But Parker Brothers, they mass produce these things commercially. They were the first ones to do so. And these are the same people that make like board games that are meant for families. And people thought that that was just a toy. Even till this day, oh, the Ouija board is just a toy, just a toy. But a lot of you know that you won't mess with it. Even Ed and Lorraine Warren, that would do paranormal investigations, a lot of the stories that they've written books about started out with people playing with Ouija boards. Very dangerous. Don't play with a Ouija board. And also, don't talk to the dead or give any sort of demon any room in your life. The Bible's against it. God's against it. I hope that if you have one of these dolls, whatever these people are talking about, you're not going through the same thing. And if you are, I'm going to keep praying for you. But hey, you can pray for yourself. You don't need me. All you got to do is get on your hands and knees with a humble heart and reach out to your creator. That's all that you need. Thank you so much. Make sure to join our Spotify, The Upper Room with Omar and Shelly. Gotta go for now. Before we leave, let me get some more. Peace.